Welcome, welcome everyone. Good evening. It is January 25th and today is our fifth demo day. I'd like to thank all the persons who are already on the call. Remember to share the link with your friends and we'll just jump right into it today. So welcome again to another Jamaican Developers Demo Day or Demo Day events. Only one of a set of event series that are dedicated to capacity building and increasing the visibility of tech professionals and developers in Jamaica and soon to be in the Caribbean region. Our Demo Day series are specially designed to create a space for developers to showcase their work to others, to potential investors as well, and also for us to not only celebrate but share ideas, hopefully find other persons to collaborate with, and of course encourage other persons who may not be working actively on their craft to start working on their craft. And so today we have just one presentation for you, but I certainly expect it to take up most of the time. We have with us a group of students who I will introduce very soon, or well, former students, but we'll get into that. So we have with us, of course, as usual, one of our event organizers and the founder of Jamaican Developers, Shane Bailey. He's also the co-founder of our primary sponsor, Asub Limited. He's, of course, a full stack engineer with over a decade of experience working with technologies such as Python and JavaScript. He has consulted for both private sector entities and government entities locally and internationally. And of course, we have myself, the communications officer for Jamaican Developers. My name is Latifa Smelly. I am currently a student and I help to organize and plan all of these events. Of course, as usual, you can reach out to me if you are interested in speaking at one of our Career Day events, or if you are interested in presenting at a Demo Day event. With that, I'd like to just, before we go into our presentation today, give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Asub Limited, Jamaican Developers, Particular Presence Technologies, and Vertis Technology Solutions. We'll, of course, send the contact information for all of those sponsors in the chat near to the end of the event, where you can hear a little bit more about each of them. And with that, let's get right into our presentation. So today, of course, we have four very committed developers eager to share with you their latest project. They have formed a group evolving into a business called TechGen. And so we're excited that they are not only a part of our community, but that we've actually seen them active in the different developer spaces, and not only being active, but now we know that they're definitely working on their craft. All three of them, I believe, have also participated in developer competitions held by Sagicor, and won prizes at those events. And so today they're here to show us what more they've been doing since they've participated in those events, and since they've started to work full time. So TechGen, of course, is a group of software developers who came together because of their shared interest in producing tech solutions for problems faced in Jamaica. And of course, as one of the tenets of Jamaican Developers, that's one of the things that we're definitely proud of, because we want you all to think about how you can create software solutions that will help our nation as a whole. Their main interest is in mobile application development, and they are primarily using Flutter, which you know is Google's framework for cross-platform mobile application development. They are also working on a number of other small projects that they hope will help them to grow as tech professionals and gain more exposure in the future in order to build a business and also to elevate themselves as young men in the Jamaican society. So I'd like to welcome to present their junior full stack developer, Casandru Bartley, their UX, UI designer, Thorn Luars, and also front-end developer. They're another junior full stack developer and a PR specialist, Brandon Fung. And then lastly, their junior DevOps engineer and project manager, Kadane Hood. Kadane? Oops, okay, let me just ensure that you guys are able to unmute. Kadane?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Awesome.
Unmute a while ago. All right, so thanks for the introduction, Latifa. I would like to share my screen. I'm not seeing the option to it right now. There we go. Okay. All right, so all right, thanks for the introduction. Again, with TechGen, and the product we'll be displaying this afternoon will be WorkBite. It's a recent innovation of ours that we had entered the Sagicor development competition in, and since then we have been working on it part-time because we had school. Some of us had work and school. So we're here today to just give an overview of what it is and how far we've got with the development so far. All right, so let's get into it. So really what WorkBite is a solution to the problem of persons not being able to find freelancers, skilled workers of that sort in Jamaica, you know? Whenever it is that persons need one of these skilled workers, they struggle to locate them. If they're lucky enough, they will get a good one. But you know, what happens when they don't? There's not a reliable platform for skilled workers or these freelancers to actively advertise their value and their skill on. There is also this lack of documentation. What I mean by this is, if a skilled worker goes to do a job and you know he gets paid, what else does he gain from that? What kind of exposure does he gain from just doing that one job? It'll be up to the person to, you know, go out and refer him to other persons, and we can't just leave that up to chance. So, and also the limited resources that not everyone can have those connections when they need it at Will's call. So you wake up one morning and your pipe is leaking, you don't know where to find a plumber. You get up and a socket is not working, you don't know where to find an electrician. These are problems that all of us face. Fridge stop working, you don't know where to turn. You have to be all over the place getting unreliable sources sometimes. So what WorkBite does, it connects skilled workers and clients on an secure environment, allowing them to communicate freely and whenever they want. It's a marketplace where we only allow registered users of the application to be able to connect with each other and conduct transactions, right? There is effective communication being taken place, so you can know exactly what a problem is before you go and tackle it. Persons are able to better send messages to the freelancers or the skilled workers, allowing them to know exactly what it is their problem is and if they can fix it. And above all, it's quick, safe, and reliable. So no more calling a friend to call a friend, or you know, going out and hoping that you might just run into someone who can fix your problems. Here it is a solution that provides all of this in one application. Really how it works, it's really a 5-step process. So both a skilled worker or a client, as you call them, would just go on and browse the application, you know, see if they find anyone that meets their needs. They'd be able to negotiate with in the chat. So, you know, come and you can set a price, and you can either accept the price or decline. And after this is done, you would receive or deliver the service. So they browse, they negotiated on a price, and they receive the service, and then a payment is made. So what happened is, for this process right here between the negotiate and the making the payment initiates right here, but then it is held in an escrow until services are rendered and then payments are released. And the last step in our process, this is mainly for the clients, is that when they're finished receiving the services, we want them to rate the customers. We're thinking to make it something mandatory so that it can help build user or interaction, I believe, so that we can know how well persons are doing. So you come and do a job, we want to know that you're doing the job to your best ability. And if you're not, we want to know that as well. So accountability has to be held by someone. And this rating of the skilled workers will help to improve that on the application. All right, so we really just want to target, the skilled workers or freelancers, residents in Jamaica, specifically persons who are living somewhere, because we're not only targeting an online presence, but persons who do hands-on physical work in and around the home, and small businesses. We're targeting small businesses because the larger companies have their contracts that they give to other larger companies. So small businesses is our last target. We do have some persons that have, done similar things directly. We can talk about Worky, tradesman factory JA, services JA. Indirect competitors would be Fiverr, which is one that's for a larger market than what we're trying to penetrate. And we have freelancer as well, and there's also Instagram, because people use Instagram for these sort of things as well, and we have to be aware of that. Or for the direct competitors, their approach is a little bit different. They use what's called a prepaid service. So persons are paying to advertise themselves on these websites or applications. And it's not a guarantee that you're going to get noticed. And that can be kind of disheartening. So persons aren't really enthused to use things like that. They're acting more of an advertisement agency for you. So you're not directly communicating with clients or customers at times. And some of them also will only target virtual jobs. And as I said before, WorkBite, it tries to not only do virtual, but physical jobs, the plumbers, the architects, anything like that has to do, hands-on approach. All right, so what makes us unique, what we think makes us unique, is that we try to do pay per job kind of model, so a commission-based model. So persons don't actually pay anything until they've landed a job and done it and receive payment for it, right? So it's a commission base that is charged to the skilled worker. It would be $500. That's what we're working on now, our commission. And we're trying to make it so that only members can access the site and use it to its full potential. So can't just have someone coming on and making not going through the sign-up process and using our services. And we do this so that we can help prevent, like fraudulent services or anything of that sort. The in-app messaging features and the real-time location services, we also boast that, along with, one second. Yeah, the ability to make online payments through the application. We're thinking of integrating, we have to integrate a third-party payment service. We're not sure who is it, but that will be in the app. Let's see. I said before, it's a commission-based model. We charge $500 for each job that's done through WorkBite is the application, and we also just are gonna seek to gain income through, you know, the sponsored ads and the data monetization. Really, we started this in January of last year with just an idea, entered the competition, did a small mock-up, and since then we have started development in Flutter, you know, getting the front end up and running. So where we're at now, we're hoping to complete both the front and the back end development by August of this year, and possibly launch in September. Once we have launched, then we'd like to take it a step further and, you know, break into the region of the Caribbean, not just Jamaica, but, you know, the wider Caribbean as well in the following year. Yeah, this we already got introduced to everyone, but again, this is just everyone. And we also have some social media, pretty new, but you guys can contact us here. We're open to any suggestions, words of encouragement. You know, we're just starting out and we do appreciate the exposure and the help. And we'd love to connect with other developers as well, provide assistance or teach a thing or two. All right, so that's the end of the presentation. I'm just gonna stop sharing 1 second and load up my.
Okay, so while you are moving over to the demo, we have 2 questions in the chat. And just a reminder for anyone else, if you do have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, or message in the chat as well. So first question, how do you protect against transactions starting on the platform, then completing deals outside of the platform? And the second question is, does the platform handle disputes and conflicts that may occur because of a lack of clear understanding of the agreed upon contract?
All right, so for the first question that says, how do you protect against transactions starting on the platform, then completing deals outside? So how should I put it? The rating service that I mentioned is what we're trying to use to get persons to really make the payments through the application. So you won't be able to rate someone unless you make a payment through the application. Now, I believe it might be a marketing move, but we have to ensure that the skilled workers understand that no matter how much they use the app, if they don't complete a transaction through the application, it doesn't benefit them in any other way than getting paid from that one transaction. So you hire me and, you know, I pay you not through the application, but just money in your hand, then I don't get the ability to rate you. So you've just done work for me through this application and you've lost the ability to be rated, seeing that you didn't pay through the application. So it does not help you on the application, if that answers the question. Does the platform handle disputes and conflicts that may occur because of a lack of clear understanding of the agreed upon contract? Well, not currently. However, it is in our best interest to seek legal advice on how best to implement the contracts from a legal side. But in our logic, we do have it in mind on how to properly handle these conflicts that might occur. Like, for example, persons saying that you hired me for a service and I didn't do it to satisfy completion or satisfactory completion. So to say, we would have to implement something. For example, as soon as a person's done doing a job, they'd have to take a picture and they would have a dispute resolution center that we at WorkBite now try to deduce based on information that's provided to us from both parties to help resolve the situation.
Okay, Kumba. Okay, great. So if anyone has any advice on how to handle disputes and conflicts, definitely reach out to them via their social media.
Going to share screen again right now. Sorry, I'll look at it up.
For any questions during the demo, let's keep them to the chat, and then I will verbalize them to Kadeen.
Was I kicked off? Just no, I'm sharing.
Not sharing anymore.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, great. So I'm seeing it. Awesome.
There we go. All right, so I said we're still in the development stage, so forgive me if all the pages aren't completed. We try to take you through as many as possible. And yeah, let's go. Just loading. In the meanwhile, while it's loading, yeah, this is Flutter. And so far we're still on the front end, dealing with the design and the logic. We had a Figma file that, all the pages are completed on, and we just basically, trying to get it in the coded version. All right, here we go. All right, so this is the first screen that a user would see, and you're just gonna want to sign up. Gonna go to email. Let's see. Right, then it asks us to enter a username that you'll be identified with on the application, a unique username. So just to it should be, create the account. Then there's a disclaimer that lets us know that in order to utilize all the features in the application, our members are required to set up an account. So we just set up an account, and seeing that it's an app for 2 different use cases, we're gonna come here and then, we can select client. We'll just enter information. We ask for persons' TRNs in, how should I put it? It's another step in helping to identify each and everyone to ensure that there is, everyone is who they say they are. So in, how should I put it? In the grand scheme of things, we were hoping at least we could get
ID verification?
Yeah, there's ID verification for the pictures down here, but for the TRN, we're hoping we could get integrated maybe with Jamaica custom system, because they have everyone's, TRN, and to just to match up the name and address and stuff like that. ensure everyone who is who they say they are.
Tax administration.
Well, yeah, tax administration.
Okay.
Yeah, tax administration. All right, so do that. We'd ask them to upload a valid photo ID. But right now, I'm sorry for the I don't have valid photo IDs on this, but we just use that for now. So we're done. It would send us into the application. We have I think we have a little design here going. We can see all the categories that we're going to have displayed on the application. There's going to be a list for the featured persons. So the featured would be it'd be an algorithm to say who are the most rated or who are the most used persons for, let's say, maybe a week or a day. A specific time period would get you up here on the features, the featured page. And there's also a section for the popular categories, ones that persons use a lot down here. At the moment, this page here is not fully functional. However, we're able to search if we wanted to get, Kilo's, we could be able to search for him, his profile. And I mean, names don't match up now, still in testing mode, but it should be what a skilled professional's profile is like. So they have the about, switch over to see all the jobs that they've completed, and we'll be able to see some reviews that persons have left for them. There you go. Now, we also have the save pages, which, it could use a little work right now, but this is what we have. Just to display all the persons that, you've liked and get them here, and you could be able to click them and send you straight back to the profile page I just showed. Now this page, I think, is where most of the magic happens. Persons are able to go between 3 different tabs for their posts. This is a client view, by the way. So persons who are seeking the help of a freelancer, they'll be able to post the title for a job. So fixing broken washing machine. Broken washing machine and totally Kingston. And we're looking at that budget between 8,000 and $12,000. Right. And we just put a little description. My washing machine is broken and need help. Right. Then you'd be able to upload a photo maybe of, the machine itself. Yeah, upload a photo and you need to be able to hit post. Well, all right, so it's not functional right now. So when you hit post and it's posted, it would come up here in your active jobs. You'd be able to scroll through and see all the ones that you have active. And sorry, don't mind these. But so enter the waiting room. Yeah. All right, so then after they're active and when you go through the whole process of getting the job done, they would now come up in your completed tab. This is just your average chat bar, chat homepage, so you can see all the persons here who you have, in your DMs. And then lastly, this page at least is the client's profile page or the client's profile settings. So a freelancer would come on and see, this is what the client would come on and see their rating, because freelancers are going to also be able to rate clients, because it's just as important as clients needing to rate freelancers. shows you when you've been a member since and how many jobs you've completed through the application.
So to confirm, this is the freelancer profile.
No,
This is the
sorry,
page
the
for the
client.
freelancer's profile that the client will see.
No, this is actually the client's own. I'm gonna take it to the freelancers profile. So when the client comes here, they'll be able to just sort out the payment methods, add the different cards that they want to make the payments with. They'll be able to look at their contact. These are supposed to be right there. They should have all their details, so the John Doe and all of that. And then the account type, it should say whether a person is a client, or if they're already a client, it should give them an option to be a skilled worker or switch to a skilled worker account if they already have one. And then this is just your average support page where you could go for FAQs, blogs, leave a feedback. Here is there are a few pages that I haven't touched as yet. Nope. 1 second, please. In essence, that's the goal of the app from the client's perspective. And now just run through the freelancers really quickly. I'll just load it up here.
Okay, so a few comments and questions from the chat. So Jason had clarified that for ID verification, you're using TRN location and photos, correct?
Right.
And his comment is that may be a lot to ask for. Using the TRN to validate location is good in theory, but might fail in production as people move around. So that's something for you guys to think about. O'Shane is asking if you are considering using a link for payments. It would be a good option to allow payments and transfers given that they have a good API, he said.
Yes, we have been talking about implementing links, so I guess we just have to go link with them.
Okay. Question. One of the questions that was asked earlier, what are you using for identity verification? Is it that you're doing manual verification, or there's an automated process for the identity verification, like driver's license, passport?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll answer that question. So we intend to use at first we intend to verify users manually, but we eventually will be using a service, probably something like TruePic, which will do the verification for us based off the pictures that persons upload.
Okay. I would recommend you check out Orba One. They have a nice identity verification system that works with both Jamaican driver's license and passport. The second thing is that with most identity verification, you don't necessarily need to have those manual inputs. They tend to once you upload, the photo of the ID and the photo with you, holding up the ID, it tends to capture the data for you, so you can easily pull out the TRN information and so forth from the identity verification systems to really ease the pain and the process of user completing their profile, as well as giving you that fast automated verification process done within seconds or minutes. So that's one thing I think you probably should check out in the future, near future or distant, whichever.
Okay, thank you for that. We will definitely be looking into taking it into consideration and looking into implementing a feature like that, like you recommended.
So could you repeat the name of the service or the API that you said? Orbo One, was it?
Yes, Orbo One. It's actually Caribbean company, Jamaican company actually. They've been doing quite a lot of identification for companies in Jamaica and the Caribbean. I'll drop the link in the chat and you can check them out whenever. They have an open SDK as well that you can check out.
Okay, much appreciated. Much appreciated. I just go to the freelancers pages. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward as the ones were before. So here is a freelancers homepage where they would come on and be able to see, based on their location, the closest job, what exactly needs to be done. And they click on any one of these, it should bring them to a more detailed page showing, you know, exactly what needs to be done, the photos that the persons would have uploaded from before, and so forth. From there, they would be able to message the persons, you know, start negotiating on how much based on the budget or just how much they're willing to do the job for, and so forth. Save page is pretty much the same. However, no, it's not pretty much the same. It should have actually these blocks on the page here to, you know, for the same purpose, just to save. Then this is actually the freelancer or the client's dashboard, their homepage, where they can get their, you know, their statistics, the reviews that they've been getting, and just an overview of their whole profile. The message stays the same. And then this should actually be an orders page, not a profile page as seen in the nav bar down here. But just as how the clients are able to see, to make the post, see the active post and completed, the freelancers will be able to see all the posts that are available. So what we're going to implement here is sort of like a filter. So we're able to filter down based on the location or the type of jobs, and then they'll, you know, be able to scroll to see which ones are for them. And then based on how many they're doing at a time, they would also have some showing up here in the active tab. All right. Yeah, we still have a lot of work to do. I hope you guys get the idea of WorkBite and what it is the problem that it's trying to solve. We are also open to any design, where should I put it? Any design ideas that, you know, could help us, or anyone thinks could help us improve the look of the application. So yeah, thank you guys for your time. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kadim. Let me just check with everyone else before I move on to anything else. Are there any questions? I'm not seeing any new questions in the chat as yet. Okay, I'm just reminding everyone you can unmute yourself. So I do have a question for you guys. What would you say, apart from those things, the design, are there any other challenges that you have pinpointed that you would that you're seeking feedback on? And also, are there opportunities for other persons to collaborate, or will this be mostly kept within the small circle?
All right, so I can answer the last question first. This application specifically WorkBite, we wanted to do it amongst the four of us, with help from others, but being the main contributors or developers on the application. However, we are, in the process of starting a small business by the name of TechGen. So, at that point, we would be looking for persons, or we would want to collaborate with persons on those smaller projects, right? Or those other projects, I should say, not smaller projects, but those other projects that we'll be doing in the future once this is completed and cleared up. The first question now is any other limitations or problems that we've run into so far? That's correct?
Yes.
All right. There's so many, I don't know where to start, but we would like some clarification on, or if anyone has anything to say about the backend that we're going to use. So we plan to use Firebase as the backend, since we're using Flutter. That's based on our research, that's the most compatible. But is there any objection to that, or does anyone know any other backend that fits well with Flutter, or does it really matter? Yeah, that's why I would like some clarification.
Okay, so I'll answer that. So it actually doesn't matter which backend you use. It's a matter of just providing like a RESTful API to your backend. So for example, you could have a Python, Laravel, Drupal, WordPress, whatever backend, but as long as it outputs some form of RESTful API that your application can consume, then sure. It's just that with Firebase is already RESTful. It already comes with all of the endpoints that you most likely would need. Yeah, out of the box, it gives you everything. If you plan to have a separate backend now, you would have to go and build those RESTful API. There's also Postgres, which is Postgres in a RESTful API format that you can also utilize, which is kind of similar to Firebase, but it's just SQL based. Otherwise, from that, you would have to build out your own custom backend if you're not using Firebase, MongoDB, or Postgres. But for an application like this, I would definitely actually recommend that you look towards building out a custom backend, because one of the things that you may need to think about is the upcoming Data Protection Act. Apart from that, even though Firebase, you have more of a concrete and flexible infrastructure, you also have to think about what are the limitations that you may face with Firebase based on what you want to do. For example, scheduling cron jobs, scheduling like those mini tasks that you might need to work on. Also think about whether you're going to do matching. How do you match the best skilled worker with the best client based on whether their skill set, location, whatever criteria. You have to get the data from Firebase, process it in some form of whichever backend, and then send that off to the mobile app to do some form of recommendation. So some of these things you have to think about when you're building out your infrastructure. Yes, Firebase is very suited in a certain sense, but at the same time, when you want to get granular and custom, it's better to just have a custom backend. So that's basically my 2 cents. There are other platforms, but you would have to just build out the RESTful endpoints to integrate with your app.
Thanks much for that. That's a good input, I think, because we weren't thinking along that line before, but we are now. Thank you.
No problem. I think Jason mentioned there is superbase.com, which if you want a Postgres alternative to Firebase, it has a great SQL data module. Yes. So yeah, there's that, and there's also Postgres. So there are options. It's a matter of just researching, asking like the larger tech community, and gather your feedback and then decide which route to go from there.
Okay.
But what you have so far, it's good.
Okay, thanks again. We're going to definitely look into everyone's suggestions. A bit of a eye opener for us, and hopefully we can, have an update for everybody in Charlotte and see where it's at.
So someone asked, can Salesforce work with it? I think you probably have to expound on that, Brandon. Otherwise, from that, if you guys can answer it, yes. Well.
He's one of the group members. I think he was asking you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon, can you expound on what you mean with the Salesforce question? Because from my perspective, it's two different things, but can you expound on what you mean? You can unmute.
So Brandon is going to type. That's not an issue.
Alright, good night. Alright. Keep in mind, I am just learning Salesforce, so I am not so sure how far Salesforce can go, but Salesforce is used to manage database for websites for.
All right. I think I get why you ask, but again, there's a bit of difference it based on what you want. So that's the first thing. You can utilize Salesforce, but remember, any application that you utilize, any application that you integrate, you also have to think about what is the technical debt, what is the cost of using that website. Yes, you have the price, you have the price you have to think about. You also have to think about what are the limitations. How flexible is it for you to work? Who owns the data at the end of the day? How easy it for export, manipulate, search, and all of these things with the data? So that's a couple of things you have to think about. With Salesforce now, yes, you can offload the data to Salesforce, but remember, at the end of the day, with your application, you will need to pull it, do some form of operation on it, and then push it back to your mobile app, or you pretty much make the mobile app do all of that data operation on the phone. And then of course, if you do it on the phone, you have to think about, okay, the users, will the app take a long time to process whatever data on the phone. Normally what tends to happen is that there's a middleman or a middle backend that gets the data, process the data, manipulate data, and send it to the mobile phone to then consume. So make it easier, lighter for the mobile phone to operate and utilize whatever data. So you have to think about the architecture of how you're going to build out this application, the data base, and the different services. Salesforce can be used to offload data in sense of service workers to push, not service workers, skilled workers to their platform to, show up in like a online thing that is based on Salesforce, or share that data to other clients on Salesforce, whichever. You also can think about what if you go towards like using some form of HR management tool that already exists, and you're just utilizing and providing data. Like, for example, there's Manatar, LinkedIn, or these other job platform. Yes, you can also integrate and utilize data, but again, it all based on what are the limitations you will face while integrating. Some very easy, some you find it's not exactly easy or what you would want. So I'm biased because I'm more towards always have something custom, always having something that you can modify, on your own, instead of being restricted by external platform. But if anyone else like utilize Salesforce or any external database tool, you can just like indicate or talk about your experience to give these guys more of understanding based on like the other services that's out there. So please feel to share. But that's it for me. I'm not sure of the Salesforce, how to use Salesforce in your specific like application, but again, it's possible, but you have to think about the restrictions.
Thank you.
The benefits and restrictions, that is.
Okay, Brandon is saying thank you again.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, great. So lots to think about. I am very glad that you guys were able to get some feedback. I know that's one thing you were looking forward to from this event. And so hopefully you do, we have more persons reaching out, whether it is to support or to offer their ideas. And they should, since they know your names, be able to find you in the dev chats. With that, though, we are going to close off our event for today because we are at 7. So thank you again, Kadeen, Casandru, Thorn, and Brandon for sharing with us your project. We definitely hope that you continue to work on it and that it does end up becoming a force within its niche. So we wish you all the success. And again, I'm just going to encourage anyone who has any ideas or any support to contact them via their email or social media. Um, with that, we'd like to just remind everyone else that if you are interested in demoing any projects, no matter the size or the problem that it solves, you can definitely reach out to us at our email, community@caribbean.dev. Very soon, you'll be able to just sign up on the Carib Dev website. But for the time being, do email us at community@caribbean.dev, or reach out to myself or O'Shane, whether it is on WhatsApp or Telegram. Okay, so thanks to everyone again for attending. I think O'Shane has posted the Telegram link for our developer group in the chat. O'Shane, if you could please paste the join link for the Jamaican developers Telegram chat. Thank you. So if you are not a part of that and you do want to join the community, do connect with us on Telegram. And then lastly, let me just go give another final shout out to our sponsors without whom this event would not be possible. So thank you again to Asub Limited, which is a venture studio, small venture studio located in Kingston, focused on solving worldwide problems through digital transformation and use of artificial intelligence. Thank you as well to Jamaican developers community, the entire team who helped to coordinate and plan these events, as well as to Particular Presence Technologies Limited, which is a software house based in Kingston that focuses mostly on solutions for the insurance industry, and of course to cloud solution provider, staff augmentation service, and software development solutions provider, Vertis Technology Solutions. You can find their websites pasted in the chat, and with that, we will adjourn. So I'll see you all again for our first February event, which we expect is going to be the next WordPress meetup, and of course for our February Career Day, which will be focused on artificial intelligence. As usual, I hope you are all keeping safe from Omicron. And with that, take care.
Okay. One more thing. For the recording, I'll post the link for the recording in the chat. So you can share it and watch it if you missed any portion of this event. So with that said, thank you everyone and take care.